everybody seems to be talking about reform. That is to say, the United Kingdom Reform Party and what's happening with it. Quite a row has broken out with Nigel Farage, the party leader, and Rupert Lowe, the member of parliament who has been suspended, who's been kicked out of the party, aided by Ben Habib, who is also an ex-Reform Party grandee, if you will. And it's over allegedly allegations of bullying by Mr. Lowe, bullying of staff, inappropriate behavior with some women staff members and others, if I understand it correctly, and threats of violence from Mr. Lowe allegedly against Zia Yusuf, the relatively new chairman of the party of reform. And it's even gone so far as to be reported to the police. Haven't heard what's happening with their investigations yet, but I'm sure we will fairly soon. Now, this is really tearing the party apart. And of course, it's so reminiscent of the infighting that we've seen for almost 14 years in the conservative Tory party, and to a certain extent within Labour as well, the currently ruling party in the UK. And it's not good. And some media reports have said that as many as 1/3 of people who voted reform have now left, have withdrawn their support for the party. One report says that 7,000 reform members resigned or declared that they were leaving over one weekend because of this infighting and disunity. It's certainly not helping them. Nigel Farage, the party leader, brought 29 new councillors, some of them defecting conservative members, into the party and hoped that, it seems, would detract attention from these internal internecine battles and strife. But I don't think it's worked. People are still really quite upset about this and what's going on. And it doesn't bode well. And it particularly doesn't bode well for you and for me, because who in the world are we going to vote for to be our leaders? Conservatives, as I've been saying for a long time, are toast. I mean, they have totally destroyed their party and their chances of election and leading the government. Kemi Badenoch, their new leader, she's so ineffectual. She's so powerless. I don't know how they could have chosen her. Had they chosen Robert Jenrick instead, I'm sorry, but that wouldn't have been much better. Looking at Jenrick and Kemi reminds me of the day that Boris Johnson was stabbed in the back and Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss appeared. They weren't very impressive, were they? So I don't know about the Tories. And Labour is just at the lowest level of popularity ratings imaginable for all the things they're doing, raising taxes, going back on their promises, introducing things that they never mentioned in their manifesto or their campaign, uh, freedom of speech suppression, turning this into a socialist country, basically. It's fearsome, and so they're not going to win in the popularity polls. So if you don't vote Tory and you don't vote conservative, the Lib Dems, the liberal Democrats, are like blancmange. They're pretty dull. They're not going to excite anybody. And that leaves reform, which was, pardon me, which was very exciting, but now is riven with these terrible battles, these internecine battles, as I say, and turned a lot of people off. Nigel is a great leader. He's very inspiring, but who else is there? Zia Yusuf, the new chairman, is inspiring in his own way, but he's not a politician and he's not going to be able to take the party forward politically. So they have got to solve this problem quickly. And you know, I've been saying for the last week, I'm wondering what is really going on with Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all of this because Elon came out and said that Nigel wasn't the right man for the job, didn't he? That was a very strange thing for him to do. And I'm sure he wouldn't do it without Trump's approbation, without Trump's okay, at least, if not tacitly, at least, implicitly. Um, and I'm just wondering, I just keep wondering every day whether Trump and Musk haven't decided that Nigel is not the right man to lead the Reform Party. And these two guys, Trump and Musk, they do want to have some influence in the UK. That's for sure. The UK is very close to Trump's heart. His mother was Scottish, and he's got some serious business interest here. And of course, Musk has a British heritage. He could become British if he wanted. And what do you do after you run Tesla and SpaceX and X and everything else? You want to run a country. So, who knows? But Musk coming out and saying Rupert Lowe's the man and not Nigel Farage was a very surprising thing to happen. And the next thing you know, Rupert Lowe came out and started criticizing, I'm sorry, Farage. And the whole thing burst loose. They then came back and accused him of all these allegations of violence and the rest of it, and it turned into a full-blown Tory type scandal battle. And now it's a real mess. And so we don't have any party that we would want to vote for. And that's a real difficult situation. That's a real pickle to be in. I don't like it at all. I don't know about you, but it really does worry me. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. We must watch for next steps. Somebody's going to make some moves at some point. Musk will say something, or Trump, or Nigel is saying plenty of things, but I do note that it's having less effect. And Zia Youssef has let the head of communications, Gawain Towler, go. So we have new comms in place, and I'm not hearing that much effective stuff from them. And the real problem, I think, is that reform doesn't really have anybody under Nigel that can carry it forward for him. Richard Tice, does a good job as far as he can, but again, he's not a politician. Many people say he looks like a retired Tory, and I mean he's certainly a good guy, but can he lead the party and be a political figure? I'm not sure. And, I don't know who else they have. I think Nigel building these grassroots communities in every town with local councillors and local Reform Party chairman is an absolutely brilliant idea. That's the strength in the grassroots that they really need. And that's going to be a very valuable thing for them to have vis-a-vis the Tories and Labour and the Lib Dems. But who's going to carry that forward if not Nigel? That's the real question. So we really need to watch this space, and I'll be continually updating you on it. But keep your eyes open and let me know if you have any bright ideas.